Welcome to the video. My name is Munster Mash, also known as Rob, and this is Captain Hindsight for NRL SuperCoach. We assess the armband options that people have for each week and help guide people to hopefully making better decisions and really maximizing those double scores when you can get them. So we're at almost a quarter of the way through the season now, and we've had a pretty good start so far. We've had a few big successes so far, and honestly, I think we've done pretty well. We've got a good average, but we can always do better. Before we dive into the options for this week, as per usual, like and subscribe. It does help us get the content into your guys' hands so that we can help you out. It helps us out when you like and subscribe. So yeah, please do so. If you haven't joined the Discord, please jump in and join the SC Hub. It is, great resource. I bang on about it every week, but I cannot stress just how good of a resource that it is. Anyway, we'll go to the options that we had for last week, and we had VC Cleary into a CF Pappenhausen. Now, this is called Captain Hindsight, and it was only one score better last week than Captain Happy. So that was his teammate Xavier Coates, who put up a score in the almost 150. So look, I will take a 136. That's a pretty good result in the end. Cleary, not so great. The Panthers are obviously down at the moment, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But yeah, there's a few issues there, and we'll have to see how that actually translates as we start to approach into the origin period. Is somebody like Dylan Edwards under fire for losing his position at origin level? We'll have to find out. And it should shape a few different Supercoach choices over the next few weeks that I think could be season defining. But before we do that, that's a future problem. We don't need to worry about it this week. So we're going to dive into the options for this week, starting with, I think, the biggest surprise packet this season so far, Clint Gutherson. He's obviously had a very, very good start to the year. Unfortunately, a bit of a down week last week with the Dragons just avoiding him at all opportunity. Good tactics, but unfortunately not great for us super coaches. So he's still got a 2025 average of 98. And the majority, apart from last week, the attack's just flowing through him. Manly are up and down at the moment, and they are travelling back from Perth. So I think that does work in Gutherson's favour. We've seen it in the past that teams can be a little bit down after the big travel, whether it's New Zealand, whether it's Perth, whether it's North Queensland. And yeah, we'll see how that translates this week. Because he is early in the round, and because Manly are so up and down, I don't know how this game is going to go. It's a little bit on a knife edge, I think, with which team will get the ascendancy at the end, because it is 4 Pines Park. Manly do love playing there. So for Clint Gutherson, I think he's a VC option only. I wouldn't go anything more than that, because I think there are better options for the captaincy armband. But if you're feeling a bit, if you want to throw an armband on Clint at all, I would go VC. But for me, I think I would probably give him neither and just hope he gets a decent score. But he's a VC option at best, but not my favorite. Probably my favorite for one of the armbands, at least this week, is my man, Ryan Pappenhausen. He's going to be playing the Dolphins at Suncorp on Friday night, and it's shaping up to be a cracker. I actually will get to this game, so I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully Pappy can continue his form from last week and put up another 100-plus score at least. Would be nice. So he's got a 2025 average of 93.2. He's only played the Dolphins twice, so he's got one lower score and one higher score. But I think the real key thing for the Storm at the moment is they are flying. They're basically the best attacking team in the NRL at the moment. And I think it's key is that this is a game at Suncorp, and we know that Melbourne love playing at Suncorp. They put points on for fun. We can see here from their last 3 games last year in 2024, they played at Suncorp 3 times, and their lowest points scored was 30. and they almost scored 50 in the two other games against the Broncos and the Eels. It's, yeah, just ridiculous. And we know it's points will flow. It's a high scoring field. So I think, yeah, whether it's a VC or whether you're happy to go for the straight C, I think Ryan Pappenhausen has to have one of the armbands this week. Yeah, whether you go to straight C or not is the tough decision. That's why I think Gutherson would work for VC. You could go a VC Gutho into Pappenhausen. But it's one of those ones where I wouldn't be surprised if for some reason Munster or Hughes steps to the fore and takes all the attacking stats. It's or even Harry Grant. It's just one of those weird games that I'm not sure how it's going to go. The Dolphins will be riding high after beating the Panthers last week. So I'm leaning more VC than C, but yeah, I wouldn't knock anybody going the straight C on Pappenhausen. With it being one of those weeks where I do think it's a little bit like I don't think there's a lot of good options across the board for big scores. It's we know Easter is a big weekend for a lot of teams, so it might be worth playing it a little bit safer and seeing if you can just be happy to bank like say like an 80 or a 90, and that leads me to Payne Haas. Look, he bounced back to form last week, and the thing that I really like about him this week is his average against every team that he's played is by far the highest against the Warriors. He's got a low score in the history of playing them of 74, that's ridiculous. And yeah, his 2025 average is in the 90s, which is amazing for a front rower. And the Warriors also concede the most points to front row forwards out of anyone. So the signs all point there to a safe but good scoring Payne Haas as the captaincy. So I, as a bit of a no shock really, VC Pappenhausen into Payne Haas I think is a really, really good option this week. And spoiler alert, that is what we've gone for later on. But there is one other name that's capturing my attention this week. And yeah, it's going to potentially shape my own trades. And I'm not sure how to go with it, but we shall see. I'll have to ponder a little bit more tonight. And that's for, yeah, James Tedesco. He's sneakily had a very, very good year, gone a bit under the radar, still very low ownership. But he's up against the Panthers, who I with the way that this season has gone, I don't think we can really assess them as a defensive juggernaut anymore. They've conceded too many points, and we can see here they've actually conceded the second most points to fullbacks, like out of every team. We know where Teddy's already put a 119 on them, especially with the halves not really being as ball dominant as other teams. He is chiming in a lot more and really helping to get involved with the attack. So that's obviously good for SuperCoach points. Yeah, his history against the Panthers is not good from previous years, which is no surprise to anyone. They've not been a good team to play against in the past, but that has changed this year. But the other thing that really, really stands out to me, and when I was looking into things, as apart from the Panthers conceding the second most points to fullback, was his average at Allianz Stadium last year. It was 96.75. I think he played 12 games there, maybe 13. I can't remember that off the top of my head. But he was scoring at about 100 plus. I think it was about a 50% strike rate. So it's, yeah, shaping up to be a very good score for Tedesco. So I don't currently have him in my own SuperCoach team, but I am considering bringing him in for this game. The big thing is, though, I've got to weigh up personally whether or not I think he gets picked for Origin. With his form, he does get picked over Dylan Edwards, but Dylan Edwards is the incumbent. Do they go back to the future? Like, do they stick with, the guy that's the future of the position, or do they give Teddy one last hurrah? I don't know. So I'll need to ponder that, maybe bounce it off a few people that I trust their judgment for, and we'll see what that means. But look, we'll put a quick wrap on this so we don't go too long. Don't hold you up. It's, the armbands for this week, though I am backing VC Ryan Pappenhausen into Payne Haas. With the Panthers, I just look, at some point they are going to turn it around. It could be this week with it being such a big round of footy. So, and as I said before, I don't think there's a lot of standout options for the armbands this week. So, yeah, VC Pappy into a safe C Payne Haas. As per usual, if you're going for something like this, make sure you check your loop options to make sure that you can loop. I've got Tukey Simpkins in my own team. So he's somebody I can very easily swing onto the field if I need to loop VC Ryan Pappenhausen. So that's where I'm sitting for this week. We'll back these guys in and see how we go. But we'll call it there. So once again, as I mentioned at the top, please comment, like, and subscribe to the SC Hub YouTube channel. I want to hear what armbands, especially with it being such an open week, I'd like to see some people make comments below about what armbands you're going to go with, and whether or not you're going to play it safe, or even maybe have a swing to that defense for somebody like maybe like a Jacob Karaz, who I think could have a big score this week as well. Dogs against the Bunnies. So I think there are a few options like that where that could be sneakily high scores. So we'll obviously look back on it next week and see what the play should have been. Anyway, my name has been Munster Mash. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next round. Good luck with your armband choices for round 7 in NRL SuperCoach.